My big gripe is...
We'll talk about that.
It's dark down here. It's quite... Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Ian J. Cole.
Hi, and I'm Jane.
And this is, we've just watched a film by the band Merry Hell, which is a year in the life of Merry Hell. Now, if you don't know who Merry Hell are, they are a folk rock band from Wigan, and I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. Always have been. Now, the reason I'm a huge fan, and the reason Jane's here and Jane watched it, Jane's not a fan, so she's the objective one. Back in the 90s, there was a band called the Tansads.
To be dropping. Can you feel that feeling down below? Just telling you the kitchen floor is bumping. I need this love. I need this love. I need this love. I need this love. Never go with you. Your ways are far too dangerous and risky. The soul that is sewn up like a shoe, and I will not go wandering with you. I need this road. I need this road. I need this road. I need this road.
The main part of Merry Hell was the remnants of the Tansads. So I think 5 of the original members. There's 8 in the band plus manager and a couple of people who do sound and stuff. So 5 of the original members of the Tansads are in Merry Hell. So they've put out this documentary. Now, the other night we watched that, which is called Shirkers, which is a reunion concert of the Tansads, which is where the guys got back together, and obviously from then Merry Hell came around. So I made Jane watch that the other night, didn't I?
Did.
Just to give it some context, really.
You said that I'd grow out of waiting for something to happen. Well, I'm 100 feet taller than you, and I'm like that. Well, I love you, didn't you love me? You made bonfires with naivety, but don't use it. You press for me no more. I've got your records in pain, and you think it's a game, so we're changing our names to a band on the rainbow. What is it? You said that I'd stop making noise the minute I left school. Yeah, and you gave me some toys, some tools to swim in the world. May your factory gates be blown apart. Your science is a work of art, but you're too weak to ever start again. Cause your earth is in pain, and you think it's a game, so we're changing our name to a band on the rainbow. And if I behave, I'll expect a position with prospect. I won't turn off my mind or submit to inadequate insects. Not your love is in pain, and you think it's a game, so we're changing our name to a band on the rainbow. You've abandoned the rainbow. You've abandoned the rainbow.
So, before I say what I think about the documentary, I want your opinion.
No pressure then. Well, I've seen Merry Hell probably 4, possibly 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got, as Ian said, the history from the Tansads. I mean, I've always enjoyed them as a band to go and see. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the songs. I enjoy the live performances. I mean, I have to say, when we watched the Shirkers, I didn't watch all of it because it was about the reunion of the Tansads, and I didn't know the characters, so I didn't watch all of it. Obviously, I do know the people in Merry Hell, and I enjoyed it. You know, it's a year in the life, and that's what it is. It is a year in the life. So from February 18 to February 19. And you see them turning up at lots of gigs. There's obviously lots of talking behind the scenes, little bits of them on stage. I like the fact that when they're on stage with other performers, they showed tiny bits of the of those bands and told you who they were, which I think is great, because you know usually other bands on the same shows don't get a look in. I enjoyed it. It's very watchable.
It's about 1 hour and 25 minutes, I think, in total time.
I mean, they do, like I've just said, and I'm repeating myself, it is a year in the life of, but I found the narrative slightly disjointed, because you've got them sort of turning up at different gigs, interspersed with obviously conversations and themes, i.e. I think one of them was what was either your favourite book or the book that most influenced you. And there's a section where you'll be watching something else, and then suddenly it'll go back to one of the members saying what their book is. And I'm not saying.
So you found that a little bit disjointed.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I have to
found
agree
there was
with
a lot of cutting and chopping. There was sometimes when people would obviously appear to be mid-conversation, but you don't actually know what they were talking about.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I sort of,
yeah.
I suppose I was irritated by that slightly. I mean, there's a whole, I mean, maybe I missed it, but there's a section that goes over about 20 minutes, and every so often there's a very discordant sound, and 3 or 4 of the band members fall down on the floor, and I didn't know what was happening there.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
I assumed that is for a video, for another video.
Oh, I see.
But
yeah.
I don't. To be fair, I don't know, and I'll have to probably look through.
No, so there were a few bits like that they were obviously filming for something else, but it was, and obviously, that's what they were doing at that time in the year.
The thing that I missed was, I missed I almost expected it to be months. So this is January. This is what we did in January, February. Now maybe that's too linear, but and like you say, I was certainly towards the end. There was more. It said where they were when they were in Skegness and other places, but certainly near the beginning, there was a few. They said something about Filey, so maybe they were at Filey Folk Festival, but we weren't sure that that's where they were. So it didn't. I wanted more structure to it.
I think that's probably what was missing for me, and why I found it disjointed. And I mean, they are, they're not averse to making political statements when they're on stage.
No.
We happen to be, sort of like-minded.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But I don't know who this is aimed at. Presumably more aimed at fans who will be of that political persuasion anyway. Yeah. But there were some quite political statements made at the end, and it just made me think, well, anybody who isn't maybe a fan will probably switch off at that point if they're not like-minded. So I'm not quite sure who it was aimed at. Yeah,
there was a few bits in there, and I thought, I wonder if that's almost like an in-joke, like you need to know more about the band than. Yeah. I mean, and I was thinking of you while we were watching that, because you've seen them a few times, but you're not a fan in that same sense, No,
because I can't tell you who everybody is.
No, and I mean, it was, for me, it was quite nice to see more of them. Because here's a band that I have followed, or a group of musicians that I've followed since the early 90s, and one of the things that really surprised me was the fact that they've got day jobs. And now, in my head, the Tansads were a professional band, and I just assumed that Merry Hell didn't need to do other things apart from play music, which was a bit of a revelation for me. I mean, they're fantastic musicians. The albums are brilliant, but clearly they have other jobs. They do other things around their music, like an awful lot of musicians.
So how they fit all that in, I don't know.
It's incredible, really. Yeah.
Yeah. The commitment and the musicianship. You don't question that. And I enjoyed it from that point of view. And it's an insight into a group of people who spend a hell of a lot of time together, but also provide, entertainment, enjoyment to lots of other people. And I don't suppose there aren't a lot of people, obviously much larger groups do videos, not videos, but do documentaries about themselves. So I would imagine, I don't know, that this is quite unusual. But, it's very well done.
It's beautifully filmed. It really is beautifully filmed. And the opening sequence, which is in a forest, and it's obviously filmed in February 2018, because that's obviously when it started from. And so, you know, it looks fantastic. The quality of the filmmaker is excellent, really.
Yeah.
I just think some of like I agree with you about the narrative and the fact that some of the narrative isn't quite. It's not quite what I expected.
No.
And I have one big gripe, but I'll come back to that.
No. I think I've sort of,
right, okay.
No.
My big gripe is that apart from the end song, there's very little of Mary Hell's music in it.
Oh, do you know, that did occur to me that we hadn't really seen.
You see them sort of starting the song when they're going on stage, and then it cuts to something else, or it cuts to the end of the song. We never got a complete Mary Hell song throughout the whole documentary, and that sort of bugged me a little bit, because generally when you see a documentary, you'll have a bit of the backstage stuff or a bit of the stuff that's going on around it, and then there'll be a song which might tie the whole thing together, and then there'll be a bit more of. I've been seeing a few sort of music documentaries. Now maybe that's their choice, I don't know, but that for me.
Right, no, it's interesting. I did towards the end suddenly catch myself thinking, oh, we haven't actually heard, you know, like you say, a full song or a long sequence of their music. It featured a lot of the songs, and when the end credits come up, you know, there were a lot of songs featured, but only in snippets.
Or back behind something else. If somebody was talking, there'd be a bit of.
But it didn't. No, it's funny. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all.
Right.
It just I noticed, and I thought, we haven't actually had a full song.
Yeah.
Or very much.
I mean, that's my only really big gripe with it. The fact that I wanted, maybe it's because I'm a fan, but I wanted there to be more complete songs.
No, right. I know that didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's worth just mentioning how we went through the process of actually getting access to the documentary. You can buy it as a DVD, or you can stream it from Vimeo, and I streamed it from Vimeo for 24 hours. So I have it now until the same sort of time tomorrow evening, and I could watch it again, and that costs £2.96. So that process isn't necessarily as straightforward as it could be. I do have a Vimeo account which I haven't used for several years, and had to log in to my account, so I had to do all the business with forgotten passwords and all that sort of stuff, which this is not Mary Hell's fault, but this is obviously one of the vehicles for actually viewing the documentary. That was slightly irritating. You can buy and download it from Vimeo for I think £6.95. I'll put that in the notes down below. So it's it's quite an interesting way to be able to it's the first time I've ever had to do that, is to actually stream a documentary in this way, and for £2.96, for an hour and a half, it's fine.
Good value.
It is good value, very good value. So anything else?
No.
So it's definitely worth watching. My thoughts are, if you're not a fan, question for you, Jen. If you're not a fan, I wanted to see it because I'm a fan of the band. If you've never really heard much about Mary Hell and you want to hear a bit more, is it the right thing to do? Is to download and stream this video?
I think if you've seen them a couple of times, you've heard some of their music, I would definitely think it's worth watching. I mean, but I would never have seen it, but then I would never have gone to see the band
if it wasn't for me.
If it wasn't for you.
No, exactly.
So, unless you go to live music, because if you like folk rock, I would have thought that you would probably have seen Mary Hell at some point. If you go to a lot of those kind of festivals and things.
Because we first saw them at, we purposefully went to Beverley Folk Festival about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they were headlining one of the tents on the Sunday night, and that was the only reason we went for to see them.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a bit of a sort of chicken and egg thing. So if you know about them, then yes, you'll definitely be interested. If you don't know about them, you're never going to see it. But
you might see it from watching something like this.
Yeah, and you're unlikely to stumble upon it, but you could do. And yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to, follow, see somebody over a period of time.
Yeah,
especially a live band, and and get to know them a little bit. Just see them.
I mean, I certainly think you do that. Does it give you lots of insight into the life of a band? I would say no.
No.
It certainly gives me as a fan insight into them as a group of musicians that I've listened to and had some communication with over years. But no, if you're looking for a documentary that's going to tell you all it is, or what it's really like to be in a folk band, I don't think this is it.
No. I mean, no, it doesn't.
No,
not at all. But I don't think, to be fair, that's not what this set
up
to do. No, that's not what its purpose is.
No.
No.
But I would recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't feel I've wasted my time or anything. And no, it is interesting. It is interesting.
Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. I'd like to be reborn and hopefully sent to a place where admission is free. Nothing to pack for the journey, none of those meaningless fripperies, shiny things, all of that stuff I thought when I bought I so badly needed at the time. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. That's right. Weave me a casket made from old willow, tied up with string. Weave me a casket that's made from old willow and tied up with string. I hope where I'm going there'll be no need for little black dresses with earrings and beads, clothes to impress, to delight, to deceive. Every last one I'll bequeath, all the glad rags, the handbags, yes, and more shoes than anyone could possibly wear in one lifetime. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Oh, bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Yonder blue mountain, and I'll say good night. Lay me to rest on yonder blue mountain, and I'll say good night. No tears for me, don't feel sorrow or pain. I'll take nothing with me, not even my name. Sing me a tune with a happy refrain, one of those old-fashioned melodies Bring a smile to my eyes, bring me sunshine by Morecambe and Wise. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Oh, bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came in. Last time. Bury me naked, I want to go out the way I came.
Good stuff. So thanks very much for watching. I will put in the they've done a little advert for the actual documentary, so I will include that and I'll put it in now.
I sing with Andrew.
Mellifluid, all indeed, pink hell.
I sing.
That's John Kettle's First World Problems.
It's all on recycled paper as well.
There is only a working class northern family can say that. Yeah.
And I sat down on the loo and he came in and said to me,
Whenever we're releasing anything or there's something new happening, it can only happen if.
And I said I love you, but don't cry, 'cause that ain't an order.
And then it was sort of this idea that till we have a band, you know.
Go on, guys, you do.
Why did I start writing songs?
I and we mean it.
so you Brown brothers, how did you first meet? Are you actual brothers?
So yeah, I think I was talking about Bob Dylan and something on, I think it was the Martin Scorsese documentary.
What you see here every minute, our songwriting process. You know, I'm actually going to try and distill my method now. Millions of people lost in the world.
I'd grown up in a house with my brothers who had guitars, and they were the mates would come round with his drum kits and all manner of stuff in the house.
The first book that ever really blew me away was called...
And the book being called The Ode to Wigan Pier, I'd like to show you what Wigan Pier actually was.
So thanks so much for watching. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button and all of that usual stuff, and we'll see you next video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Bye.